There are some secrets in marriage that can destroy a person forever. And for Conley, his own secret started with one simple thing: his wife never took pictures. Not once. No selfies, no wedding photos, nothing. At first, he thought it was normal, but by the time he discovered the truth, it was already too late. Conley met his wife Amaka during one of the worst times of his life. He was living alone in a small apartment in Surulere, Lagos. No stable job, no money, no peace, every day felt heavy. Sometimes he would sit outside at night and just stare at the road, wondering if life would ever get better. Then one evening, while returning from a failed job interview, he saw her. Amaka. She was standing near a roadside food seller buying roasted corn. Simple black gown, no makeup, quiet smile. But the moment she looked at Conley, everything around him suddenly felt calm. So they started talking, and somehow, conversation with her felt easy, too easy. Within weeks, they became close. Then before anybody knew what was happening, Conley married her. His friends were shocked. "Guy, you sure say this girl no use jazz for you?" But Conley did not care because for the first time in years, he was happy. Amaka treated him like a king. She cooked, prayed for him, encouraged him. Whenever life became hard, she would hold his hand and say, "Things will change, just be patient." And somehow, things actually changed. Conley got a better job, money started entering, peace entered his life too. The neighbors admired Amaka, even the women in the compound liked her, which was rare, very rare. But slowly, strange things started happening, little things. At first, Conley ignored them, but later, they became impossible to ignore. The first strange thing was the fact that Amaka hated cameras. Anytime Conley brought out his phone, she would quickly turn her face away. "No pictures please," she said. Even on birthdays, even during outings, nothing. One day, Conley jokingly forced her into a selfie, but when he checked the picture later that night, his heart skipped. In the picture, everything looked normal except Amaka. Her face looked blurry, very blurry, like smoke. Conley laughed nervously and blamed his cheap phone camera, but deep down, something felt wrong. Then another thing started happening. Every night at exactly 2:13 a.m., Amaka would wake up quietly from bed. Conley noticed it after many months. She would stand beside the window silently for almost 30 minutes just staring outside. Not moving, not blinking. The first night Conley asked her about it and she smiled softly. "I just like the night breeze." But there was no breeze, not even one leaf outside was moving. Still Conley ignored it. Love can make a person blind. Then came the day everything changed. Conley's old friend Tondi visited unexpectedly one evening. They sat together drinking malt and talking about old school days. Amaka came out from the kitchen with food. The moment Tondi saw her, the smile disappeared from his face immediately. The cup in his hand nearly fell. He kept staring at Amaka without speaking. Like somebody who had seen something impossible. Amaka stopped walking. For a few seconds nobody spoke. Then Tondi forced a fake smile. But throughout the night he looked uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. The moment Amaka went inside the room, Tondi grabbed Conley's arm tightly. "Where did you meet your wife?" Conley laughed. "Why you asking like that?" But Tondi was serious. Dead serious. "Guy, this woman looks exactly like somebody I knew years ago." Conley rolled his eyes. "So?" Tondi swallowed hard. "She died." The room suddenly felt cold. Conley laughed again, but this time the laugh sounded weak. "Stop that nonsense." But Tondi continued staring towards the bedroom door. Like he was scared. That night, Conley could not sleep properly. Tondi's words kept moving around his head like mosquitoes in darkness. "She died. She died. She died." Around midnight, Conley quietly picked up his phone. Then he searched Facebook using the name Tondi mentioned. At first nothing appeared. Then finally an old post showed up. The moment Conley saw the picture, his blood froze. It was Amaka. Same smile, same eyes, same face. Under the picture were the words, "Gone too soon." Conley's hand started shaking badly, then he checked the date, 3 years ago. Conley slowly turned toward the bedroom. Amaka was asleep peacefully, or pretending to sleep. Fear entered his body properly for the first time. The next morning, he confronted her. At first Amaka said nothing. She just sat quietly. Conley shouted, "Who are you?" Tears slowly filled her eyes. Then finally she spoke. And what she said nearly destroyed him. Years ago before she died, she once met Conley briefly during a robbery attack in Enugu. Conley helped her, protected her, she never forgot him, but weeks later, she died in a terrible accident. Years passed, then one day she found Conley again. Lonely, broken, ready to give up on life. So she stayed beside him, not to harm him, not to scare him, but because she loved him. Conley started crying immediately because suddenly, everything made sense. Why her body always felt cold at night, why dogs barked whenever she walked past, why mirrors sometimes reflected strange shadows around her, why nobody had ever visited her from her family. Amaka moved closer to him slowly, tears were falling from her eyes. "I was happy with you," she whispered. "For the first time in a long time, I felt human again." Then suddenly, the light started flickering, the windows began shaking violently, cold wind filled the room. Conley grabbed Amaka tightly, but slowly, her body started fading. Little by little, like smoke disappearing into darkness. Conley screamed, "No! Please don't leave me." Amaka smiled sadly, then she whispered, "Promise me you will keep living." And suddenly, she vanished, just like that. Only her wedding ring remained on the floor. Conley cried till morning. But the scariest part came later, when he tried telling neighbors about Amaka. Most people looked confused. Some even said Conley had always lived alone. Nobody remembered her clearly anymore. Almost like she never existed. But till today, every night at exactly 2:13 a.m., Conley still wakes up sometimes and sees somebody standing quietly beside the window. Watching him. Without moving.